Good morning. This is a course intended for my HAVPA Survey Class. Um, I just wanted to say, farewell and good luck to you all. Um, I know that I'm talking to a limited audience, and I want to thank that audience. I, you know, People who haven't been tuning in. I don't have anything to say to them, but you guys who have been faithful. Um, Thank you all for your diligence. Um, for those of you who are seniors, the world just opened up for you. Think of it this way, that for the rest of your life, you'll never have to ask anyone to go to the restroom ever again. And that's a joke. Of course, it means that your life just opened up, if you're a senior, to a world of possibilities. And the only limit on those possibilities is your ability to dream and your ability to say I can. And yeah, and I know a lot of you saying, well, Mr. Horton, you don't know anything about me. Um, you don't know what my limitations are. You don't know the burdens I have. No, I don't. Mhm. But I do know that you're probably about 18 years old and that right now there are a zillion choices in front of you that you can choose from. And as long as you have choices, your life, is an open book. And there are a lot of things that you can do going forward. It's when you start, you know, letting circumstances make decisions for you that you find your life limited. And so, I'm not the graduation speaker, but, and you'll hear this a lot. You have the world is open before you, and that's great. Um, but it is open to you. You will never again, because you're not quite an adult yet, but almost there. You will never again have less responsibility and more freedom of choice than you do right now. Say again, you'll never have less responsibility. Like, for example, I have responsibilities that I can't shirk from. I have multiple payments. I have a family to support, my wife. My choices are adjudicated by them, and so what I can simply do on a whim is rather limited. Um, Now, I can do whatever I want to, but once again, if I do that, there will be consequences that will go out to other people. But you're 18, you 18 or whatever, and you have all these choices that you make. And if you make those choices, you can um, open up new doors. And if you make the wrong choice, you still have time to fix it, you know. And so to you seniors, good luck to you in making your choices. I hope that what you want out of life is you're going to find it. And yeah, now for you underclassmen, both who are listening and who are not listening, and this is me talking, this is not the school talking. I'm not an official of the school, but I'm thinking, I listen to what's going on. To you underclassmen, uh, I believe, and you know what? I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But I believe that next fall, we're probably going to be doing something similar to what we've been doing these past 6 weeks. Yeah. And, that is what it is. Like I said before, you're not being asked to hide down in some bunker in some faraway land where an enemy shells you all the time and you don't know where, whether or not you're going to live out the day. As I hate to keep throwing the greatest generation in your face, but as they did, you're being asked to have a little less fun. And, I'm sorry for that. But chances are we'll be taking this kind of course again next year for all your courses again. Although I do think that since this is the second go around to do this, I do fully believe that they may be a little bit more stringent as to the requirements, and people may be held more accountable than they're being held right now. At any rate, I turned your grades in yesterday. You can look on Infinite Campus for that. And I want to encourage you, if you got anything at all out of this class, I want you to encourage you maybe to look at the world a little differently. I mean, art is something that I didn't care one thing about when I first began taking this class. Art to me, 13 years ago, was something that boring people looked at, and that was boring and had nothing for me. But what I didn't know was that I was appreciating arts of various sorts then, and through taking this class and by exposing myself to the art world, I open up a whole new world of appreciation of the art that I was already enjoying, seeing it as art, but also of different kinds of art. And I'm not saying that you have to like all kinds of art, but when you look at art is one of the highest manifestations of humanity. So what does that mean? Art is human beings being their best because they are creating things with the tools that they have been given. And, art is worthwhile. Art is wonderful. Do you have to like all? I don't like all art. I don't like all music. And yet there are many that I do. And so, having said that, I hope that you'll go out with some appreciation for that. That if you sit there, for example, and watch your favorite television show, your Game of Thrones, I've been since this COVID thing came on, I've been rewatching Game of Thrones, which I have to admit, please don't go home and tell your mother, Mom, Miss Torton said we have to watch Game of Thrones. Do not say that. I didn't say that. But if you have watched it, I sit there and I watch it, and if you ever look at that, for one thing, that must have been a tremendously expensive series. Look at the locales. From somehow they found an Arctic North, because a lot of those shots of Beyond the Wall with all that snow and ice, because a lot of those shots were outside. That wasn't a sound stage, that wasn't a production stage, and it sure wasn't CGI. And other shots in the desert with Khaleesi. Can you believe I know who Khaleesi is? The Dothrakis. And producing all that, writing this story, writing the multitude of characters. more characters than a Harry Potter, for example, or a Star Wars. All these different characters who play significant roles, and how whoever wrote that book, and I don't know who it is, intertwines all these people, creates an entire universe. Um, you know, uh, to me, that is just amazing. I do have to forewarn you, though, if you're asking your mom if you can watch Game of Thrones, basically it's softcore porn with a good story. So you have been warned. I can sit and watch it with my adult wife, and that's one thing. But Mom, I want to watch. Yeah, I mean, I wish they could have taken a lot of that out, but that's their art. That is their art. I mean, the cool thing about art, for people who want to censor art, and there are lots of people who want to censor art, the cool thing about art is this: if you don't like it, don't look at it. Now, on the other hand, if that art is abusing of someone, for example, there are types of art, I don't even want to get into that actually do that. That's not art. I mean, I guess it is, but it's kind of art that needs to be shut down because it's abusing someone, hurting someone. The art you might see on Game of Thrones, of course, is all acting, and you have to understand that it's acting, or any other story like that. Okay. But yeah, so when you look at something, when you look at your TV show, when you look at um, a play or something like that, you have to realize a movie, all the stuff that goes into it. All the screenwriting, the costuming, the actors who are acting, their art and craft. Since this whole me going on YouTube thing, I actually tried to do a couple of funny YouTube things, and I thought I was just awful. And then I would watch Saturday Night Live, and they're so good at it. Jimmy Fallon, I think, is performing genius, because not only is he funny, but he also he can sing and he can dance. I just think that's incredible, incredibly gifted. And I mean, see, if you get anything out of the class, get that. To be able to look at something and say, that's a type of art. That's really amazing. To watch dancers perform their craft. I love to watch that Geico commercial. The one Geico commercial where this couple, they've just rented an apartment. We love our new apartment, except it has a bit of a clogging problem. And then you hear this family of cloggers upstairs, and everything they do, they're clogging, they're dancing, and they're good at it. And see, that is art. That is wonderful. And those kind of things. If you get anything out of this class, take that with you. And so, yeah, I hope that for those of you who not just who took this class all year, and I know a lot of you guys, if you had your druthers, had your choices, there's no way you'd have taken this class. But since you had to take this class, if you got something out of it, that you got the journeys with Rick Steves to Europe and to look at all the various places. I hope that it put a taste in your mouth to go and see it yourself. This stupid COVID thing. My wife and I, for example, we had a trip planned. We were going to leave June the 16th to go to Colombia and then on to Argentina. We were going to spend 6 weeks in South America this summer, return July 29th. And so now we'll have to wait for another year. But we're already planning, even on top of that, we're already planning a trip to Spain. Why? Because it's different. because there's art there. And I don't mean paintings, I mean the way things are done, the lifestyles, taking mass transit to places, you know, things of that nature, just to taste something different, um, stand on another continent. My big dream is still to go to Istanbul, Turkey, and to visit the mosque, the Hagia Sophia Mosque we talked about, and then the Blue Mosque, which is, you know, a real operating mosque. The Hagia Sophia now is more of a museum. The Blue Mosque is this ginormous mosque in Istanbul. And then while we're there, to cross over the Sea of Marmara from Europe to Asia and to stand in Asia, you know, see, that is art. I hope you've gotten a little bit of taste. And once again, your best years for traveling, your best years for doing that are within the next 5 years. Because once again, after you graduate from college or get too entrenched in a life of paying bills, of, you know, car payments, of being married, children, your days of traveling are going to be more difficult. Little kids don't really get a thrill out of seeing the world. They want to go to McDonald's, eat Happy Meals, and Chuck E. Cheese's. So yeah. And look at me. I went and I've rambled on for 17 minutes of your time. All I want to do is say goodbye and good luck and to wish you well on your journey. And I'll be putting this on my Canvas page. And so, yeah, this is me. I'm sorry. This is me. I have to use my right hand to click it out. This is me signing off. Good luck.